Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you, and today I'm going to give you my weekly trade analysis for all the major currency pairs for the upcoming trading week of June 10th through June 14th, okay, on the calendar here. So, first of all, what I want to do is look at the past week for all the major pairs and kind of give you an analysis of what has happened the past week, and then based on what has happened the past week, we can kind of judge what's going to happen here in the future, okay? And I'm going to show you different time frames and why I give my opinion, why I give my analysis, and you're free to as well to come up with your own analysis and compare it to mine, and we can exchange ideas if you like, okay? So to begin with, I'm putting all these currency pairs, all the major pairs, on a 5-minute chart just to show you the movement for this past week, okay? So from June 3rd through June 7th, this past week, okay? Now, I'm going to start with Euro USD, and we can clearly see right here that Euro USD has been going up steadily this past week, okay? And that's because the US dollar has been weakening, and the euro has been gaining as a result. And as a matter of fact, the euro has been pretty much gaining across most of its currency pairs this past week. And with the US dollar weakening, it has allowed this to steadily migrate up. Okay, we had some periods where it dropped down and then came back up. But overall, it has gained, right? It gained about, let's see how many points. So it gained about almost 600 points this past week total. Right now we're sitting at about 600 points. So it's not a huge gain, but we can see that it's a slow and steady gain. And I'm guessing that's going to continue that way, okay? Based on what's been going on. So now if we come to a 1-hour chart, we see that, got to give you a more bigger perspective, we see that we're at this kind of a level of resistance right now. We have a down arrow, wanting to go down, right? And it looks like it's starting to go down already. So I do predict that it's going to definitely come down a ways. But if we look at the higher time frames, the 4-hour shows a down arrow, but the daily has an up arrow right here, okay? And the weekly has an up arrow, just started an uptrend on the weekly, and the monthly has an up arrow as well. So the larger time frames are showing up, okay, showing bullish. That is definitely wanting to go to an uptrend now. So keep in the back of your mind that this is bullish, that this will be going up, okay? And the US dollar is weakening, so it's going to allow this Euro USD to continue up. But if we look at the smaller time frames, the 1 hour and the 4 hour, right, it's showing bearish that wants to go down right now. So what's going to happen is, in the beginning of the week, like Monday or Tuesday, it's going to drop. And then towards the middle of the week, it's going to retrace and go back up, and it's going to continue up, and keep going further up than where it is right now. Exactly where it will end, I couldn't tell you, but I do know that it will be going up. So with that in mind, okay, you want to be trading up, okay? So don't be looking to sell. Wait for a good buy opportunity on the 1 hour or 4 hour chart, and then that's when I would get in. Also, furthermore, if you look on the 1 hour, I'm going to zoom in a bit here. If you look on the 1 hour, we see kind of sort of an uptrend, okay? And I'm going to draw a trend line right here, okay? Okay. If I draw a trend line right here, we see that we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty much almost 4 points that touch and form a perfect uptrend, okay? Even if I look on the 4 hour chart, we still see a nice uptrend. So what's going to happen is, this is going to drop, and it's probably going to drop and hover, retrace up and down, but eventually it's going to hit this trend line somewhere in here, and then it's going to retrace and go back up. And that is what you want to be looking for. You want to look for this to hit that trend line and then shoot back up. And that at that point it will form an up arrow, and probably on the 1 hour chart. You should be seeing this on the 1 hour chart, form a blue arrow, and when it does, that's the time to buy. Okay, so moving on. Next is GBP USD, and we see kind of the same thing. This has been steadily going up this past week, and that's because the US dollar has been dropping, right? So it's allowing other currency pairs to gain. So if one weakens, the other one, strengthens. That's just how it works, right? So in the GBP USD, the first half is GBP, Great British Pound. So that one's going to go up if the dollar goes down. So as of right now, this has been slowly gaining. It hasn't gained a lot, but you can see it gained about 600 points where it is now. So it's following suit with the Euro USD, right? So we can kind of predict a very similar fashion for what I just said a minute ago. And if we look at the 1 hour chart, we have a down arrow right now, right? So we know it's getting ready to come down. But if I draw a trend line like I just did previously, okay, and point like this, okay, draw this trend line, so you can see you get this point and all these points in here that match up perfect. So what's going to happen is this is going to drop, okay, it's going to drop, touch that trend line, and then bounce back up again. I can pretty much guarantee it. If you look at the higher time frames, the 4 hour only shows the up arrow, and the daily shows the up arrow. And let me delete this trend line real quick so you can see better, but just so you understand what I'm saying, we have an up arrow here on the daily and weekly as well. I'm not so much concerned about the monthly, but even the monthly shows the up arrow, so we know the overall trend is going to be bullish. This is definitely going to be going up this week. In the beginning of the week, probably Monday we should see this drop some, but it's not going to drop a whole lot, a few hundred points, and then it's going to retrace and go back up. So definitely be looking to buy this week. Okay, wait until you have a buy signal on like a 1 hour, even 30-minute chart will be fine, but just only buy. Okay, that's all I can say about this one. And then moving on to AUD USD, Australian dollar US dollar, we see kind of a similar fashion. This has been more of a range in motion, okay, moving in a sideways fashion, but overall the price ended higher than when it started, okay. And if we look at the crosshairs, we can tell we had about 400 something point gain, so it's not too bad, okay. It is gaining slowly. And we look at the higher time frames, we're showing 1 hour showing bearish, right, and the 4 hour showing bearish, but the daily and the weekly show bullish, right, and the monthly as well. So going by the daily and weekly, we can get a bigger perspective of where the long-term trend is going to be going. And according to the daily and weekly, it's definitely showing that it's going to go up. So keep that in the back of your mind that this is going to be going up. Alright, and the beginning of the week, just like I've already stated, as you can already tell, it's going to drop, and then it's going to bounce off of a trend line and continue up further. Okay, so be looking to buy. Alright, I'm going to draw a trend line here just to kind of give an idea of what to expect. And this is not going to be perfect, but at least this right here can show you that we got all these points right here touching, and I'm looking for this to come back down, touch this trend line somewhere in here, and then shoot back up further. So wait till about Tuesday or so, give it some time, give it 24 hours for this to drop, and then you can get in and buy at that point. And you can hold it for long term, really. Once you place a buy trade, you can hold it for several days easily and catch a lot of pips in the process. So anyhow, that's my analysis for the AUD USD. Moving on to New Zealand dollar US dollar, we see the same thing, right? Because the US dollar has been dropping. So we see an uptrend, and this one gained, let's see here, like at 685 pips. So that's not bad, okay? So overall, been about a 600 point gain. And if we look at the higher time frames, you're going to see the same exact fashion, right? Bearish, bearish. Oh, bullish, bullish, right? And bullish. All right. So the higher time frames are showing up, and the smaller time frames are showing down. This means that it will in fact drop in the beginning of the week, and then continue up. Okay. And if you go to the 1 hour chart, just like I've already showed you, you can easily draw a trend line, okay, like this. Now, right here is only 2 points really, and I guess you could count like several times right here, but this is clearly shows an uptrend right here, and I would wait for this to drop the first part of the Monday, and then once this drops, touch this trend line, it's going to form an up arrow, and at that time I would buy it. Okay. Now if it breaks, for some reason it breaks this trend line by like 50 to 100 points, then I would sell, because it's definitely going to be coming down. But based on what's going on in the market, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be going up. Alright, if you look at the daily and weekly, it's definitely showing to go up. So I would only be looking to buy. And then let's look at USD CHF. Okay. Now conversely, if the other ones are going up, the USD or US dollar pairs are going to be going down. Okay. So if we look at this right here, is more of a range in motion, and it's not a huge drop. 300 some point drop overall. And it had come down back up again. Now it's come back down. And if we look at the higher time frames, okay, 1 hour, 4 hour, you got some mixed signals here. 4 hours daily showing up, but the weekly is showing down, and the monthly is showing down. So the US dollar is fighting right now to go back up. We know this for a fact. It's pretty angry right now. This past Friday was the non-farm payroll, and the NFP report had showed a weakening in the economy because of a bad job report, right? So the problem is, this is not going to be going up much at all this week. And what we can predict, I know the US dollar is trying to strengthen, and it's hit this strong resistance right here. But what's going to happen is it's going to form a range in motion. From what I can tell right now, it's going to go up in the first half of the week, but then later towards the end of the week it's going to continue down further. And what I like to do is, look at the bigger time frame. Okay, it's bearish according to the weekly, so long term this is going to be going down. So we can draw a trend line coming from here down like that. Okay, now we only have really 2 points, actually 3 points, so it is a official trend line, but I'm looking for this to touch here, and when it does and forms a red arrow according to the 1 hour, even 4 hour chart, when this comes up and touches here, that would be a perfect time to sell. Alright, with the fact that the bigger time frame is bearish, meaning this is going to be going down, I would only be looking to sell this week. So if you want to buy in the first half of the week, Monday or Tuesday, it's okay. You can get in, catch a few hundred pips. But for me, to be 100% safe, I would definitely wait until you have a sell opportunity. You don't need to hurry and rush into this. Okay? Bide your time, wait till Wednesday or whatever, and then at that point is when you want to get in a sell. Okay? I would check this periodically throughout the day, Monday and Tuesday, just to see what's going on. But just know that if you get on the 1 hour chart or the 4 hour chart even, wait for a sell signal, especially in the 4 hour. And that would be an excellent time to get in and sell. But notice here and here there was no red arrows, so I would probably stick with the 1 hour chart. Now we have a red arrow here, but I feel that this is going to go back up and touch this and then form another red arrow. Okay, it might even form a blue arrow now, I don't know, but definitely be looking out on the 1 hour chart for a red arrow, and that time you want to sell, and you can hold it long term as well. Okay, so moving on to USD JPY, we see mostly a ranging market here. Okay, moving in a sideways fashion, a lot of ups and downs, and that's good for scalping, really. And this is on a 5-minute chart, so this is excellent setup right here for scalping. Get in and catch a few 100 pips or whatever, get out, and then you know, I'm not going to look at the pip wise here, but let's look at the higher time frames though, to kind of get a perspective on what's going to happen. You look at the 1 hour and 4 hour. All right, we're showing bearish on the 1 hour, 4 hour showing bullish. All right, so it looks like it's wanting to go up. Daily showing bullish, weekly showing bullish, and the monthly showing bearish. All right, US dollar, Japanese yen kind of follows an opposite pattern from like USD CHF. Generally speaking, not always, but follows a kind of opposite trend. So if USD CHF is going down, this one should be going up. And right now is, you know, it looks like it's wanting to go up according to the daily and hourly, but here it's hit this level of support. If we go down to the 30-minute, all right, 30 minutes showing a level of support is coming up. What I feel is that this is going to go down even more. It's really difficult to say, but look at the monthly. Okay, the monthly is showing bearish, right? And wants to go down, and we see a trend here. We see a downtrend. I'm going to draw this line right here. Okay, it's showing a clear downtrend. Now, when is it? What is it going to do now? Is it going to go back up and touch that trend line? I can't tell you 100% certain. Here's that trend line way up here. So my best guess is that this will be going up this week and the first half of the week, and maybe even for the entire week it'll be going up, and eventually it's going to touch this trend line and come back down again. So for this week only, I probably would say that it is safe to buy, because long term it looks like, you know, I say long term, I mean for the entire week, it looks like it's going to be going up. The long term for the next month, the next few weeks, is bearish. Okay, that it's going to be going down. But like I said, that this generally follows kind of an opposite pattern from its predecessor, USD CHF. So this one is a little wishy-washy and it's not easily tradable. Okay, I don't necessarily like trading this pair, but you can definitely get in and get some pips. This is definitely good for scalping. Like I said, on the 5-minute chart, you can definitely get in and get some good pips. Right now, on the 5-minute chart, it's showing that it wants to go up, and it'll probably go up and hit this level of resistance, come back down again. But like I said, you know, that's on a 5-minute chart. So anyhow, watch for this to go up for the most of this week. On the 4-hour chart, it's showing bullish, and it has a long ways to go before it hits this trend line. Okay, it'll probably take another week or so for this to finally hit that trend line. But once it does, then you can look to catch a lot of pips on the way back down. Okay, so at least for this week, I probably will be buying on this one. All right, if not, don't even trade it at all. All right, now USD Canadian Dollar, moving on. We can clearly see this has been dropping, right? And the US dollar has obviously been weakening, but what's so unique about this pair is when the non-farm payroll is released, both the US dollar and Canadian dollar, their employment data is released at the same time. Okay, And the Canadian dollar had a good job report, while the US dollar had a real crappy report. Okay, they lost a significant amount of jobs, while the Canadian gained. So the Canadian shot up, Canadian dollar, and US dollar shot down. So this was a pretty big drop for this pair, and that's just kind of already predicted, already kind of written in stone in advance. We do see that this hit a level of support right now, and it's getting ready to go back up, but that's on a small time frame. If you look at that 1 hour and 4 hour, it's showing that it wants to go up, but the fact that it has dropped so much this past Friday leads me to believe that it is not finished dropping. Okay, if we look at the daily and weekly, it's showing bearish, right? It wants to go down. Even the monthly. So, with that said, and that in mind, I would say that it's a good time to sell. If we look, I probably could draw maybe on a 4-hour chart. Okay, if we draw a trend line, I'm going to show you this real quick. If I draw a trend line like this, okay, we have all these points here to touch, and this point here, but now it has broken. Okay, whenever you have a trend line broken like this, before this was a support that it bounced off of. Now this support has broken, and now that becomes a resistance. So what's going to happen is this is going to go up and touch this trend line or come close to it, and then form a red arrow and continue down. That I can pretty much guarantee. So if we look at the 1 hour and 4 hour, I probably would look at the focus on the 1 hour, but look for this to go up in the beginning of the week, and then wait. It may take till Tuesday, I don't know, but wait for a red arrow to form when it gets close to this trend line, okay, and wait for the red arrow, and then I would sell. And at that point, I would sell and hold for a few days at least. All right, you can catch a lot of pips that way. Long term, this is going to be going down. You probably could even sell and hold for a couple weeks, honestly. But at this point, it's really hard to say how far it's going to drop. Okay, if you look here on the weekly, we see a trend line like this, right? And it has not broken this trend yet. It has not broken this trend. So, you know, long term, yes, it will be dropping. We'll see this retrace go back up and then come back down again. Now, once it breaks on this weekly, we know we're in good hands, that we can stay in for long term. But at least for now, okay, at least for now, we can look at the 1 hour. We can predict that this is going to be going down, and I would definitely be looking to sell. I would not be looking to buy. I don't know what happened here. I was trying to show you that trend line I had before, but it's okay. Anyhow, but you get, I redrew it. So, but you get the idea, right? That this is going to be going up. Okay, we have this trend line here, and then we have another trend line. I could draw, let me draw two trend lines so you're not confused. Alright. And the reason for this is, I'm going to draw two trend lines here. This has already broken this trend. So it's going to go up and down a ways, but it's going to eventually hit this trend line. It's going to go down this week, hit this trend line, bounce off of it, and then come up a ways, and then eventually come back down and break this trend line and continue it down. Now it might take another week or two before it actually breaks this trend line But at least right now for this week, we can expect this to drop a ways, okay? And probably at least a few more 100 points. Let's draw a crosshairs here. If you wait for this to come back up, touch this trend line, form a red arrow, and then come down, look at that, 2,700 something points. Oh my God! So you could easily get 1,000 points out of this, right? I wouldn't, I would definitely not complain about that. So anyhow, be looking to sell for USD CAD. Okay, so this is my overall analysis for all these pairs. Watch for the US dollar to drop this week. It's been bearish. It's going to continue to be bearish. Okay, it's going to continue to weaken. All right, and we look for the other currency pairs to go up. Basically, okay. So that applies for across the board for most of the other related USD or currency pairs like that. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. There's a link below in the description of this video for my personal Facebook, and I would love to hear your analysis on what you think this market is going to do, and we can compare. Okay, so reach out to me. Also, there's a link below in the description of this video for my private Facebook group. If you have not joined my Facebook group, please do so, and you can post your analysis there as well, and we can compare. Okay, we can have an open discussion and share all of our thoughts and ideas, and hopefully this will make you a better trader, and maybe you can share some information with me that maybe help me as well. I don't know. I'm always open to any suggestions or ideas that you might have. So feel free to help me, and I'll help you as much as I possibly can. Okay? So thank you, and I look forward to helping you this week. Thank you.